Welcome back to Modelling Misadventures. Now we're going to carry on with the Super 60 build in this video. Last time we finished the basic structure of the fuselage, and the instructions are now telling me that I've got to go ahead and fit the engine. So let's get on with that. Now on the plans it tells you that you have to mount the engine on an aluminium plate, which is shown here. Now I've got no idea what got into me, but I spent about half an hour looking online trying to find where I might get hold of an aluminium plate of the right size. And then I decided to have a quick look in the hardware pack, and lo and behold, what did I find? This thing was sitting at the back of the hardware pack. I hadn't realised what it was. It's the aluminium plate for mounting the engine on. So I'll have to mark that up and make it the right size for the engine I've got. So what we'll need to do is cut out a hole in this aluminium plate so that that engine will be able to be screwed onto it. Got that marked out, and I'm going to use the drill press to try and do the cutout. So I've got the cutout made and tidied up a bit. I'm just trying to work a little bit more on this right thrust angle that I've got to get on the plate. So that's what the black lines are for. And I just need to sand it a little bit more just to get it to the right angle. I reckon I've got this about right. The cuts are pretty much parallel with those black lines. And so if I put the engine on, I'll be able to drill my holes so that the engine lines up with those black lines, and there's my 2 degrees of right thrust. I've got my plate all done, and here's the engine, and it fits very nicely. So I'm going to fasten it on with some bolts that I have from my bolt box. Now I'm probably going to be accused of over-engineering this, but I'm going to put the 4 bolts in, and then underneath I'm going to fasten them in with 2 nuts using thread lock and a lock nut. A touch more thread lock, and on goes the second nut. So 2 nuts with Loctite, so that's belts and braces, and then I'm going to put a lock nut on as well, so I don't know what that would be. So that's now fastened on with 2 nuts with Loctite and a lock nut on top, and as they say, that's not going anywhere. Well, this is the engine sitting in its place. It fits quite nicely, and I've got to drill the holes in here for it to be fitted. I'm not quite sure I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to have the nuts at the top so that I'll be able to remove the engine if necessary. But I'm not very happy with these slots for the tank. As it turned out, I made them before they were fitted, and now they're actually too big and the tank's going to sit too low. So I'm going to have to make some modifications, and I'm going to have to use that and alter the size of the holes to make it fit properly. Well, that turned out to be a right palaver. I've been cutting wood, sanding wood, drilling holes in it, and I've finally got a solution which makes the tank fit. So I ended up having to make this little insert piece here that fits into the other pieces where I'd made the holes too big. But now the tank will fit and it will be at the right height for where it's meant to be. So for all you expert aeroplane modelers out there, you might as well have a good laugh, because that was a bit of a cock up. I'm just going to glue these on now and seal these joints with a bit of epoxy glue, and then this whole area will be ready for fuel proofing. So everything's pretty much ready now for the engine and tank to be inserted. I've got the holes drilled for the engine mount. I've got the wooden struts to hold the tank in place. And at this back here, I've actually glued a piece of silicone tube on here to act as a bit of a pressure fit. And at the back, I've put on a Velcro strap to hold it in place. So that'll make it easier to get the tank out if I ever need to. That's what it looks like with them both test fitted in place. So it all looks good. So this is where we got up to so far, and I'm pretty happy with how the tank and the engine have gone in. These are just test fitted at the moment, because the next stage of the model is to completely work on this whole front end to make it round and smooth, and to have a cowl on and some side pieces. So that's what we're going to be talking. So for now, that's the end of this installment, and I'll see you next time on Modelling Misadventures.